Hello, good morning, everyone. This is Harsimranjeet Singh. Welcome to the podcast Two Takes. I know it's been a while since we last connected, as you know, the last episode was back in December. But I was very much looking forward to this episode because we have a very interesting topic as well as a very interesting guest with us today, who is my very near and dear friend, Mr. Ritvik.
Thank you,
Welcome to the
Harsiman, for
show.
having me. So, firstly, I would like to congratulate you, Harsiman, for the
Right.
book, The Soul Bounded Dowry.
Thank you very much. Yeah. It was a passion project, but I'm glad it's
Yeah,
out. I'm working on the marketing
have been nice.
strategies.
It's good.
But
It's
how
been
how
good.
have you been?
Yeah,
Right. So a little bit of context, about me and Ritvik. So we met back in our graduation days. We studied together in Delhi when we were studying our BBA course, and that's how we ended up being friends. And we used to have a lot of debates, discussion about various topics, policies, schemes, and initiatives taken by companies and government. So I always had this thought in mind that I need to have a kind of a episode where I get Ritvik and we talk about a topic. But Ritvik, if you can give us a little bit of background
yeah.
about what you've been
So,
doing.
as Harry mentioned, we people were graduating back in those days, and we were the ones who would have all these philosophical discussions amongst ourselves. Ki, yaar, what's going out there in the international scenario? What's going out there in the world? What is the employment structure? How things are going on? So, yes, we were very much into these things. And post my college, I I appeared for the Combined Defense Services examination. I've appeared for four SSB interviews, after which. For a very small duration, I worked in in a Bangalore-based organization called Scalar Academy, and also I have an
Hmm.
organization. I have started an organization with the name Jumexa Professional Services, wherein we provide risk management and medical
Hmm.
legal services to primarily the healthcare industry, to the doctors and hospitals. So yeah, we have worked in these multiple domains, and life has been kind. Yeah,
Great. I mean, it's amazing to see, both our journeys, like our trajectories. You've been involved in things of your own. I'm also doing something of my own. But it's good that we have always been in touch. So, not taking much time now, diving straight into the topic. So, today's topic is
yeah,
Indian job market and its changing dynamic. And the first question that I have for you is, why did we choose this topic? So, what I feel is that it's a very important topic and it doesn't get discussed as much as it should. And I believe there's a huge gap between the skills and the people that want to get employed. So right off the bat, like what do you think about this topic, the Indian
yeah.
job market and its
So, see,
changing
Harry,
dynamic?
I think it's a very organic topic when it comes to the country of India, right? I was just going through internet, I was browsing the internet, and I realized that the biggest
Hmm.
problem in Norway is the depression in adolescents, growing concern. So, in India, these problems they don't
Hmm.
even exist. When an adolescent, he's depressed in India. The typical middle class parents who are coming from a tier two or tier three cities, they'll go to his parent and they'll smash him twice or thrice, and his depression will be done. That's how we deal with depression in adolescents,
Hmm.
right? Nowadays, yes, I know that
Right.
there are certain cities, there are certain
Yeah.
families who have now evolved, but still, so we people are dealing with even bigger
Yeah.
challenges, and these challenges are, these unemployment, poverty, the degradation in
Hmm.
terms of the education standards. So, and I think everyone is talking about these issues. It's just the way the people are talking. They are not, if they are ranting about it,
Hmm.
it's not solving the problem. They're just not able to provide the righteous
Hmm. Hmm.
solutions which are needed to this topic. So very organic topic for the country of India. So many graduates, so many educated individuals who are out there in the domain. They want to get a job. They want to get hired. They're not able to, they're not able to get a job. If they are getting a job, it's not as per their standards. So yeah, this is something which needs to be addressed.
Right. And so I mean, the first question would be, how did we come into this situation where we have such a large population dividend? And if any other country, I always think about this, if any other country had 200, 300 million youth, they would have changed the whole direction of the world. And we have this gift right now, and it's kind of slipping away from our hands. So how do you think we ended up in this situation where we had so much people available, but we didn't have enough jobs or didn't have enough, institutes to train and coach these people? How did we, do you think, ended up in this situation? Is it because of poor planning
Yeah.
or something
Uh,
else?
so Harry, if I talk about the days of 1960s and 1970s, right? So these were the days where development was
Hmm.
on a high, right? India as a country was also developing the MSMEs and
Hmm.
not the MSMEs, but the Maharatnas and several other organizations. They were coming into the picture. So back then, an engineer was the most eligible bachelor,
Hmm.
right? If a guy is an engineer, he won't
Right.
be unemployed, right? So this mindset it continued
Hmm.
in the country of India, and the problem is that वो शास्त्रों में लिखा है ना that change is the only constant. संसार चलायमान है और परिवर्तन ही इसका एकमात्र नियम है.
Right.
तो this is the case which we have to will have which
Right.
we'll have to follow. We're not able to follow this. We were not evolving. हमारी को आज से 10 साल पहले तक का भी
Hmm.
mindset वही रह गया 60-70 साल पुराना mindset that engineer is the most eligible bachelor if an individual is an engineer.
Hmm.
In that case, he has a good future out there.
Hmm.
But gradually and gradually, things now have changed. If you'll talk
Right.
about the core areas, if you'll talk about you know, the employment opportunities, they have completely changed. Right? 1960s and 1970s, के अंदर there were certain jobs,
Hmm.
है ना, which now they don't even exist.
Hmm.
Even if they exist, I don't know
Right.
how much they will be paid at the moment, what kind of future these jobs will have. And there are certain jobs at the moment which are
Right.
very highly paid opportunities, right? But no one ever thought that in the days of
Hmm.
1960s,
Hmm.
70s, or 80s that these kind of things could also exist. अगर आप आज की तारीख में if you'll go to a seventh standard
Hmm.
student and ask him that what do you want to become, तो
Hmm.
शायद उनमें से बहुत सारे बोले कि मैं गूगल में काम करना चाहता हूँ. I want to work in Google, dream company. So yeah, that is the
Right.
case. I think we
Right.
have failed to evolve. We are living with that 60s or 70s mindset that be an engineer, be a doctor.
I mean, that's very much true, because what I think about this is that we are kind of obsessed with a certain idea. Like, you see the UPSC aspirants. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to pursue their dreams,
Hmm.
but a lot of their crucial years
Hmm.
go to waste in a manner. Like, if I see a person who attempted like for the last 6 years, he's trying and it's not happening, there should be a point where he realizes that I'm wasting my time and energy. I should rather focus on something that can help me. And there is this negative connotation towards private jobs and private companies. I think that is also something which is to blame
Hmm.
for the situation that we're currently
Up
in.
to an extent, yes.
Would you agree to that?
When I talk of negative connotation, yes, this negative connotation this will exist in the minds of people because they have not realized the potential of this area. Right? They just feel that when they are going to land up in a private job,
Right.
they will just earn in pennies. They won't be getting a good future. They are not, there are the opportunities available there. It's not good enough for them. So this is something, it's just it's very
Right.
difficult thing to explain. There's a lag between the skill set, this lag between the awareness and mindset, the combination of all these two
Hmm.
things. Yeah. On the
Right.
contrary,
It's a mindset issue
yeah,
also,
yeah.
clearly.
What I'm trying to say
And
is, on the contrary, if you'll get out to
yeah.
a guy, if you'll reach out to a guy who is a very skilled guy, right? He's working in the domain of information technology. He's a software
Hmm.
developer, or he is working in one of the
Hmm.
tier one cities or in some of the good IT based companies, right? Just ask him how much is he earning, is
Right.
he happy with his life, what are the standards of life which he's enjoying. Then you will get to know, no, this is also a very good
Hmm.
aspect, right? A person can also make it big in this fashion. UPSC, these government jobs, they are not the only thing. And this
Hmm.
the guy whom we are talking about, he's also enjoying job security. He's also enjoying all the benefits which are needed. Yeah, that is.
Right. No, I've seen instances where people who were in a very high position in government jobs, and they left it because it was not at all exciting. It was not fulfilling for them, and they took up something on their own, like became an entrepreneur or did something which they were passionate about. But that's a different topic altogether. But moving on to our second question, what do you think about the current condition and trends in the job market? what do you think we should be doing, and what is it that you're witnessing in the
Yeah.
current Indian job market?
So, Harry, I think we are undergoing a transformation, right? The transformation has already started in the last
Yeah.
15 years. We people have undergone that nowadays. Right now, when we are recording podcasts, we are doing it online, right? Most of the students these days, when they people want to study something,
Right.
they'll go out on YouTube. You remember back in our days, Harry, when we were having some sort of problems in maths-based questions, right? What would you do?
Right.
Yeah,
RD
yeah,
Sharma,
you'll
like, look
you'll
for
either look
books
for
in
some books or you'll wait
bookstores.
for the next day to come so that you can visit your teacher or someone, right, who can
Yeah.
help you out. But nowadays that's not the problem. You don't have to
Yeah.
wait for that much time, even that much of time. You can simply go out on Google and figure it out. You can find anything and everything on
Right.
YouTube, right? So this is a digital era, Harry. I think this transformation, it is working, and there is a shift in
Yeah.
terms of technological base, in terms of the job opportunities and everything. If you talk about the job of an accountant, right? Let's talk about an accountant. So
Hmm.
back in those days, an accountant or data entry operator, these kinds of jobs, they might have been uh, slightly demanding jobs, right? Uh, but I think these days,
Yeah.
these jobs, I don't think they have got a future. Reason being, we have got certain.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, clerical jobs, data
Exactly.
entry jobs, they are
Hmm.
becoming non-existent. And as per many reports, these are the like vanishing jobs that we have right now. And the resurgence, I mean, the upcoming of AI, machine learning, data analytics, that's the new thing. I mean, you from a point of view of an entrepreneur also, if you want to hire someone, you would definitely look at the data angle also. How good is this guy or girl with numbers, and
And
how they manage their
yeah,
data. That's
and
something every
one thing here
entrepreneur
is
will
that
now look at.
this thing called redundancy, right? So one of my very close friend,
Yeah.
he happens to be a doctor. He visited the United States of America, right? So he said, so we were just having this similar
Hmm.
conversation we were having, and so what I realized is all the jobs which are of repetitive nature, right? These jobs, they are easy to be replaced
Hmm.
when you're not doing something new, when you're not using your brains. It's very easy to replace you, right? Let's take an example. For
Right.
example, this in a restaurant, we people have got these coffee vendors or baristas, right? He told that when he visited United States,
Right.
there was no need of such people. There are coffee vending machines everywhere. Right. So an individual who used to stand behind,
Right.
who would stand behind the counter and he'll offer coffee to individuals, he's no longer needed because people will come there, they'll simply press two, three buttons, and they will get the coffee, the kind of coffee which the people need, exactly in the same
Right.
quantity, in the same amount, the taste they want. Right. Yeah.
Right.
So if you're doing a
That's
job
true.
which doesn't need your brain, if you're doing a job which is redundant in nature, repetitive task, I think it's high time for us that now we should change.
Yeah, I mean, basically hard labor, physical labor
Blue
in the service industry, that's
Blue collar is
like
altogether
not a
different,
useful skill
right?
anymore.
Hard labor, physical labor is a blue collar job. That is altogether a different story, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Right. But we are talking about this current condition and the trends, but what do you think are the Indian universities and training institutes? Do you think they are adapting to the changing environment? Should they be adapting? Because I think it's important that they also take notice of this thing, that the skills in demand are
yeah.
changing, so what they're
I think they
teaching
are
should also
changing,
change.
but they are not changing. They are not adapting at the rate which is needed, right? They are adapting at a slightly a slow rate, slower
Right. Right.
pace. Yeah, not fast enough. So
Right.
not fast enough.
Not fast enough. I mean, yeah, they are
Yeah,
reacting to the change, but not quick enough. Very well put. I mean, I think there has been some changes implemented. Universities are taking notice of this. There are a lot of initiatives taken by government also. These internship opportunities, especially targeting the data side, the AI and machine learning side. But yeah, it needs to be at the same
hmm.
pace at the which the change is also happening.
For example, the major
Right.
problem here is that even if some of the IITs, the temples of wisdom, what we people consider, if you'll talk about these institutions as well, we don't have a particular engineering
Hmm.
branch for what you mentioned, data science, Right now, we still don't have an engineering branch for data science. The closest branch
Right.
to data science, machine learning, and uh, this analytics would be, apart from computer science, apart from IT, it would be engineering in MNC. MNC is mathematics and computing. Right. So there are a few lags, there are a few issues which
Right.
are meant to be addressed. We need to address these issues, and gradually, I think. But still, I believe we are on the right track. We are doing it. We are doing it. Not very fast, not very slow, but yeah.
No, I think with India, it's also a volume issue because there are so many people that have to be covered and addressed that it becomes slow by its nature only. If it was less number of people, it would have been covered maybe more quickly. But it has always been a volume issue with India. But as far as steps are taken, I think it's a good direction to take. But I also wanted to point out the next question is, how does the Indian job market compare to the global trends, in terms of automation, diversity, and inclusion? Do you think we are at par with the first world countries?
See, now this is very difficult. It's very difficult to compare the Indian environment, Indian context with some of the nations out there in Europe or the American countries, right? Because the problems and the challenges which
Right.
we people face, which our economy faces, it's completely different, right? People here are every now and then,
Right.
every next second day, people here are they're struggling to find a living, right? They are struggling.
Right.
Very different, yeah, very
The
different, and
circumstances are
you
very
know,
different. Yeah.
yes, we are trying to come close, but it's very difficult to judge these two areas, be it in terms of quantity, be it in terms of quality, be it in terms of the standards of education, be it in terms of the standards of living, be it in terms of the economic structure, right? So financial, societal, economic, everything is
Hmm.
very different. So but still, when you will compare it amongst between the two, I think, when I talk about the
Hmm.
Indian youth, right? Particularly the skillful youth,
Hmm.
right? Which I believe is quite educated. The people are able to,
Hmm.
the people are able to do well in their lives. I think they are leaving an impact even in the international scenario and the international uh, forum as well. The people are able to leave an impact. You'll see several individuals. You'll see plenty of guys who are being hired from the country of India. They are doing a lot of work. So many CEOs of these big organizations are of Indian origin. You must have seen. I don't have to. Yeah, I don't have to remind you about them.
Yes. But then, but what I think is that it ties to another issue, that is the brain drain. Like, people get study here, do everything in
Hmm.
India, get all the skills and knowledge, and then they move out to foreign countries and
Hmm.
contribute to their development and economy. you know that's something, also another issue that can be another episode on itself. But that is one of the problems. Why does a skillful, a knowledgeable, uh, individual does not want to stay in India and contribute to the economy? Is it because of the system, the way it's built, the structure of things, that he sees no scope and he has to move out eventually?
This is a very generic thought, right? It could be the case. It could be the case with several people that they want to,
Right.
that they feel that the particularly in their domain, in their industry, the employment opportunities are not good enough, right? Uh, for example, if you'll talk
Right.
of doctors, right? So when a doctor wants to get into research,
Right.
right? He wants to get into technological research. He wants to get into
Hmm.
pharmaceutical research. The employment opportunities in India, they are very limited, I
Hmm.
believe. Right. So that's when the people usually end up deciding that we'll move
Right.
to some other nation, some other country. So this could be the case, but in most of the areas, exactly, exactly.
So it's a
In my
personal
opinion,
choice.
it's a personal belief. There are individuals who wants to,
Yeah.
live that American dream. So it's completely up to them that they want to go out and live that life. And there are a certain
Right.
set of individuals who wants to stay in the country. They want to do for India. The people feel that there's a warmth in the country of India, and they want to stay and settle here. So again, a personal choice, a personal opinion about this. But yeah, there are a set of individuals
Right.
uh, who are being attracted towards.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, you know, seeking a better lifestyle,
Hmm.
better employment opportunities, as you pointed out. But then it's a personal decision. I mean, we have to show them that it's going to be worth it staying here. Then only that individual might change their mind. But then that's a different topic altogether. But moving on to the next question, if I talk about the root cause, like, is it ultimately a outdated education system that is leading to this gap between employable skills and the youth, or do you think there is something else at play, which is contributing to this fact that we have so many unemployed people?
No, we cannot blame one single reason behind this. We cannot say that this is the particular reason which has resulted into this sort of situation, right? The situation is a combination of multiple factors. As I mentioned, that yes, first of all, the education system which is not changing as fast as it should, right? This could be one issue, it could be one challenge, but when it is being coupled by an outdated mindset of individuals, the individuals who are running behind these government jobs, the individuals who are just having they are having this myopic vision that only a certain areas are there which have got growth potential. If we are penetrating these areas, in that case we might be able to make it big. Otherwise it's not going to work for us. So these two things are obviously there, which is existing out there in the market amongst the minds of the people. Apart from this, I would say that you know the lack of evolution, right? The lack of novelty, right? We people
Right,
have, this has been the tendency of individuals in India specifically, that we don't pay that much of emphasis on entrepreneurship, right? When
right,
something hits the market which is very new, which is very different, right? We will, right? We are not very open and accepting,
right.
right? We are slightly critical. Yeah, exactly.
There
There's an
is there
initial
is
resistance which the
resistance
individual
initially,
faces,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
Uh, so there are these a couple of multiple challenges which are existing out there. So that's, I believe, is the reason.